Hi, welcome to my channel. Welcome back. Welcome to the first episode of my new series called Let's Redesign a Website. In this series, we're going to take a website that I think could be better designed, and we'll try to improve it. So let's jump into it. Thanks. This is the current homepage for CODEPINK. I'm now going to talk about 4 main areas I see that could be improved upon. Number 1, clarity. From the website homepage, it is unclear what the mission of CODEPINK really is. When I first went to the site to find out more about the organization, I was not sure what they were all about. After doing some research, I found out that CODEPINK is an internationally active NGO that describes itself as a grassroots peace and social justice movement working to end U.S.-funded wars and occupations, to challenge militarism globally, and to redirect our resources into healthcare, education, green jobs, and other life-affirming activities. The second area I decided to focus on was the hierarchy of the site. Again, on the homepage, there's a lot going on. A slider and multiple tabs and menus. From reading the mission, I am aware that there's a whole lot that goes into this organization, and arranging all this information is truly a challenge. The third point is imagery and consistency. There's a lot of imagery, and it's great. However, I feel as though there could be more consistency throughout the site. The fourth and final point that I want to focus upon are social media links. It is very clear that this organization is active on social media. These links out have a prominent place on the site, which makes sense, but they could be a bit more attractive to click on. Let's focus a bit more on the design of the homepage, since that's what we will be redesigning in this episode. I currently have the app Sketch open on my computer. As I discussed, the social media links are placed prominently at the top of the page. Next is the logo, a hamburger menu, and a button to follow CODEPINK. I noticed that this type of action appears a lot on the site, and maybe we can try just using it in a few places enticingly. After that block, there's a second navigation, which upon drop-down is a bit intimidating because of the amount of actions that can be taken by the user. Then is a slideshow or carousel, which maybe moves a bit too quickly through images and texts. Then below that, one can sign up for updates and donate to support. Next, there are links to related blog articles on the site, or one can join an action team, and there's an action calendar. Actually, I just realized those are not blog posts, but links to follow the issues that CODEPINK works on. Below, there's a news section, inspiration, and then an about section, an image, and then social media links once again. Phew, that was a lot. It will be our job to prioritize the information, decide what is most important at the top, and then the order of actions a more invested user may take upon further inspection of the page. Moving over in our sketch document, I grabbed a PNG of the logo and vectorized it so that we have that asset. I also recreated the newsletter box as an asset, which can be readjusted depending on the chosen design. And I learned that the site primarily uses the typeface Proxima Nova. Then I laid out some of the main categories in a navigation so that it can be simplified. And then within those categories, I proposed that we make subcategories to minimize the overwhelmed feeling I felt on the site on the nav bar prior. And all the way on the right, I copied the mission statement and simplified it a bit, as it will definitely be located near the top of the page. Okay, let's jump in. So I'm moving the navigation that I set up before to the top. And usually I'll start with a wireframe, but I kind of had a vision for how I want the top to look. As you can see, it starts gray, so usually I'd kind of design with just the gray in mind. So I'm kind of lining everything up, put a background. I wanted it to keep it simple. Now I'm making a search bar, which actually is on the site, but I didn't even notice it before because it's just the icon. Then I kind of copied the image to the left and made it pink, wanted it to stand out, and dragged over the mission statement that was laid out previously. And trying to find the right size for it, trying to figure out just the spacing. Do I want it like the image right at the nav bar? And then I thought, let's put some action buttons. I think that's a great idea. I put 3, and then I later realized, like, that's a little too much. I wouldn't know what to do if you have 3 actions. Like, well, which one do I click, you know? So I'm just kind of laying it out further. I wanted to make sure that there was some gutters on the side and trying to line that all up. It's great to definitely work on a grid. I liked this gray color. Definitely wanted to make everything smaller. So that's what I'm doing here. Getting some space. I think this is when I realized 3 is just too much. I'm like, yep, just 1. I also didn't mention this, but I did add some drop shadow to the mission statement on the top. And now I'm trying to figure out, do I want some more pink right below it? And then I definitely knew that this action button, I wanted people to know that they were to follow for news and updates. So that's what I'm putting there right now. I thought that that would be the most prominent. It tells you what to do right away. Okay, you're interested, just follow us. I thought that could be the first action statement button there. Follow also implies like learning more. It would bring you to a page possibly where you could sign up for the newsletter and pick which cause you wanted to follow. So I thought an arrow would be cool. I really didn't like that arrow, so I switched to this arrow. So I'm trying to find the right size for everything, just trying to feel it all out, see what works. So as you can see, there's a lot of like small little changes, and then it all eventually falls into place. So I liked the sizing there. I liked having like a white gap, I thought. So next I thought maybe I would put the newsletter. So I have sign up for updates, but then I realized later on that news and updates and sign up for updates, that's kind of the same thing. So it's a little redundant. So while I'm designing this, I will move this around the page. It's just a little too much to be like, follow, sign up, to try to make someone do so many actions. And I later realized this is not actually the most important thing. This is not what I want above the fold. Above the fold meaning like this is what you're going to see when you first enter the site. When you scroll down, maybe then you can see it, then you're interested. I've already grabbed your attention. But this is kind of if you saw a newsletter just first seeing it, like that might turn you away. I liked this image. I thought it was kind of cool that it went over the rectangle of that box. This is when I decide the newsletter doesn't need to be there at the top. And I actually start wireframing. So I'm putting my gutters back to kind of find the layout once again. And as you can see, this is where I decide to put the action calendar, like right at the top. This is what's going on. This is what we're doing. I think that's very important. And then this part actually changes up a bit. So first I thought blog posts were there, but then I do some more investigation and I realize that it's actually not blog posts, but they are the issues. So, and then I put the newsletter below, and then I thought, let's put a Twitter and Instagram, as opposed to having the icons. What if people actually saw what we were posting? And they can see what's going on, and maybe from there click in to learn more about our Twitter, more about our Instagram. So this is just like a first idea, like a first draft. I'm not too tied to it. What if actually this was all social media? So like you could just like a catch all, like stay up to date with us on social media. So now here I am looking at the site. I'm clicking into the issues. I want to see just how many issues and campaigns that one can follow through CODEPINK. And so I scroll down through them all, and I realize that there are 14. So this is actually me counting them. You got to put this work in. You just gotta. And I really liked the circles. I thought that those were great icons, and that could make something very visually appealing. So I copied CODEPINK issues in, and here I am just kind of laying it out. How do I want it to be? Can I put 14 like going down? What if it was like 4 by, 4, and then I took 2 away. So I'm really just trying it out. Then I actually grab each of the circles. So this is me with the circles planning it out, because now I want to see visually how it looks. I think 7 by 2 is just too much. So then I realized maybe 5 by 3, and then you're missing 1 on the bottom could be cool. What if we laid it out? So yeah, the 4 in the middle, so it's kind of a grid on its own. And then trying a background behind it. Didn't quite like that. So it's, again, there's a lot of trial and error. I did like having these like the borders, but what if, we kind of just had like a shadow, like they kind of look like buttons. Like they could each probably be like pins on your backpack, and then you could click into them. So now I applied the drop shadow to each of the CODEPINK issues, and now I'm going to move on to calendar. So I pulled over on the right, you can see the current calendar. That's when you click on the calendar and you go to that tab. It looks like that. So I'm trying it out. I wanted to do a layout of 4 across. So that's what I have here. And then I grabbed all the information from the website and just plopped it in. And now I'm going to start designing it up. So I want some hierarchy, of course. So the header, the event name should take priority. And then I have this for the location. It's the location pin. Then I wanted to differentiate them, so I thought making the locations pink would be great. And this looked like a little boring, but I also wanted, as you're seeing here, I'm adjusting all of the spacing in between the different elements. And then I wanted to have an RSVP button like they have on their calendar. So that's what I'm doing here. Trying to figure this all out, the spacing of everything. Trying different colors. It's kind of all an exploration. And then maybe I thought giving prominence to the first one, what if that one looked different? And I also wanted, as you can see, I'm trying, what if there were rounded corners? There should be some way too, and you'll see coming up, to click into the calendar. There are obviously other dates. So I'm trying to also think about that. I thought the outline was too harsh, so I made some pink and then left the other ones white. I like the arrow I have above, so I thought, what if there was a way to incorporate that? Just moving some stuff around. Yeah, and then here is where I thought, what if you could click into the calendar instead of having a fourth date? And then I kind of liked it being smaller, so I moved that over. And you'll see I do it again. So I was kind of just like, it's good to go back and forth. And I liked having the idea of the arrow and the button underneath. So now you can go and view the full calendar. And it's kind of fun with the element on the top left and the bottom right. And again, those are the issues. And the newsletter looks okay there. Now the social media. So tackling this, I dropped a bunch of their social media stuff in. This is from their Instagram, from CODEPINK. And I thought just having the header stay up to date on social media and their Twitter, some tweets in there. Got the icons for Twitter and Instagram, so you could kind of go into them. Now I'm playing around with the idea of having different pink borders or backgrounds. I don't think I got to play around with pink so much, so I think I got a little overzealous, I would say. You'll see I do a lot of pink things, and then I take out a bunch of them. But it did help me. I learned that kind of looked cool up there, and it kind of made this a whole section. So yeah, I was really happy with how this looked. I think the next thing I would add would be a footer and also some more social media icons at the bottom. So here's the finished thing. So yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. I think it does a better job of communicating what you can do on their site, their message, and I would definitely be interested in clicking into some of these and learning more. Thanks for watching.